A was hosting. He did a fantastic job, no surprise. Obviously, he hosts SportsCenter as well. But Stephen A., how are you going to lie to the American people and act like now you're finally the boss of the show? Now you finally have power. Nobody's buying that.
Oh, no. No, I was just saying for the hour. For the hour, since you were not here, because usually Max is a bit long-winded. Damian Woody is very disrespectful, sort of truculent and what have you. Ryan Clark is smooth, but you know, a bit cerebral at times, where he wants to elevate his level of intelligence against yours. I guess he's contaminated by Max in that regard. So I was just letting everybody know that Molly is always such a sweetheart, that as nice as you are, I was not going to be nice, and they would speak when they're spoken to, period. And they did.
I mean, calling me long-winded, that's like Usain Bolt calling someone else fast. Will you stop that?
Oh, my goodness. It was good television, to say the least, though. Michael, great to have you with us. Stephen A., I'll start with you here. Do you believe that the NBA season is over now that we're hearing more and more cases in the NBA of COVID-19?
I'm holding out hope, but my hope has diminished tremendously so, or rather, should I say, my belief has diminished. I'm still hoping against hope, but it seems very daunting. It's just when just yesterday we heard about two Lakers players have tested positive. Marcus Smart for the Boston Celtics has tested positive. 3 members of the Philadelphia 76ers organization has tested positive. A couple of folks for the Denver Nuggets have as well. You add to that the cat from Detroit, Gobert, and Mitchell in Utah. You hear all of these different things, and you just say to yourself, how is this going to happen? I can't see it. I watched Rachel Nichols' great interview with Adam Silver the other day, the commissioner for the NBA, and just look at Adam's face. I mean, he's holding out hope, but just look at his face. I mean, to know Adam Silver, obviously is an incredibly thoughtful person, wise beyond his years, an incredible leader for the NBA. But the reality is that this is a guy, and Mike Wilbon can speak to this very intimately as well. Adam usually is finding the silver lining everywhere. He's the kind of guy where if there is some hope to be had, he's going to grab at it, he's going to hold on to it, and he's going to find a way to capitalize off of it. That's what Adam Silver does. That's his specialty, one could argue. Yet, he seemed a bit resigned to what we're all growing more and more resigned to, because we've seen, the challenges that our federal government has had, along with the rest of the world, with seeing pictures of people on the beaches in Georgia making no sense whatsoever, not practicing social distancing and what have you, just jeopardizing all of us. And you're just wondering, how in God's name can you rectify this situation in time to have a season? I'm still holding out hope because of the leadership of Adam Silver and the priority the entire sports world and the world, period, has placed on this issue to assist the federal government and local governments in resolving this crisis. But it seems very daunting, to say the least.
Yeah, this is, if there could possibly be a season, Adam Silver and Michelle Roberts, by the way, Adam Silver will see to it that there is. He's shown real, strong leadership consistently. This is not the first time, but again here. The issue is leadership at the top levels of our federal government. The first cases of coronavirus were found here and in South Korea around the same time. I want to say maybe even on the same day, and I want to say that was January 19th. At any rate, look at the difference in terms of testing. South Korea, how is South Korea so far ahead of us in terms of testing? We heard Trump say early on that everyone who needs a test will get a test, but that's in fact the issue here, because the federal government has so mishandled the initial response and is unprepared in terms of tests. I don't know that Adam Silver can get his hands on the resources he needs in order to carry on with the season. Theoretically, you could. Theoretically, if you could get your hands on enough tests and not have, we talked about de Blasio's statement yesterday, Stephen A., the mayor of New York City, and you felt he was politicizing something or trying to score political points by saying what he said. But in fact, that's the reality. without tests, you can't. So theoretically, this is what you could do. You could test everyone on a team, everyone associated with a team who's going to be traveling, have them quarantine, and the NBA is a league who can actually put that in place, right? And then once that happens, you can play in an empty gym. By the way, there'll be a real appetite for that because we're all sitting here at home and looking, especially sports fans, like starved for sports. So theoretically, that could happen. But what happens if you do that? De Blasio and others will come out and correctly say, why is this group getting it? Because they're privileged and they have access that other groups don't have to those tests, particularly when elderly are at risk and people really do need the tests in order to locate and isolate the virus, right? And they'll be right, they won't be wrong. So it's not Adam Silver's fault at all. I think he's showing extraordinary leadership. But failure at the highest level of the federal government means that I would not be optimistic about seeing real NBA basketball to close out the 2019-2020 season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.